Welcome back to the Global Business Report on Rise News. We now turn our attention to the business of entertainment in Nigeria and ask the question, does Nollywood have a transparency problem? We pose that question to our next guest, Rotus Odiri, editor, Business Insider. Rotus, you're welcome to the Global Business Report.
Thanks for having me.
So we're looking at this list that I'm looking at from Film One Entertainment, which shows the top 10 high-grossing Nollywood films over the last decade, as it were. So correct, I understand you made an adjustment here. So can you just give us an insight on that?
Yeah, before we even get to the adjustment, the key thing I want folks to look at is the number 10 movie, which is Merry Men. Yeah, and so they're listed as making about 141 million naira, and is listed as 10th. But the adjustment that was made takes into the fact that this movie is still in theaters and still earning money. So if you look at the adjustment that we made, Merry Men 2 is actually at number 6. It was previously at number 10 on the prior list. So this adjustment essentially looks at the fact that that movie made 80 more million naira, or rather 40 more million naira that was listed on the prior list. Yeah. So you look at these movies. It's pretty impressive as far as revenue is concerned that they've made over the last 10 years. Yeah, and it's as a result, that is the of transparency from an association called SEEN.
All right.
Yes, indeed. And so,
all right. Go ahead.
So SEEN is the Cinema Exhibitors Association of Nigeria.
Okay.
And what it is that they're a body of cinema owners, cinema managers, cinema operators that are a body that liaise with government on taxes, on a number of other things that are referencing the film industry. And so they have actually come up with those box office figures, and they're supposed to be reporting them on a regular basis. So while we're talking about transparency, SEEN has actually done that in some respects.
Okay.
But we're not not quite there the entire way.
Interesting development. So how was this adjustment made in the first place?
Well, it's based on the box office figures that they collect from around the country, based on the number of cinemas that we have in Nigeria. Yeah. So this is essentially on a weekly basis, they will report what these movies have made. So the numbers are quite big. I mean, the Wedding Party is the biggest one at 452 million, Wedding Party 2, 435, Chief Daddy. And the key thing here, I mean, most of these movies came in the latter part of the decade. I think the only one that comes prior to 2015 was 30 Days in Atlanta, which was released in 2014. Okay. But the key thing here, Nii, is that there is a transparency issue with regards to cost. So I want to give you an example now. Outside of Nollywood, Jumanji, The Next Level. You seen that movie?
Yeah, not I've seen there's so much, in terms of the advertisement on it.
Of the film, yeah. So Jumanji, if you think about that film, when it comes to costs, we're looking at revenue. This movie cost $125 million. Now,
that's to make.
To make.
Wow.
And the cost is known. This is the transparency that we're looking at here. Right. This cost is known. You can easily Google Jumanji budget, and you will get this figure. You can't do that for the Nollywood films. So if you want to look in terms of profitability, there's a website called Box Office Mojo, other sources that are able to tell you how much this movie has made, gross. Look at that. So the gross, the domestic gross, the international gross, and the worldwide gross. So right now, this movie, as we speak, Jumanji has made $613 million.
And
now
still growing.
And still going. And we saw that budget of 125. So you take 125 from 613. It's a budget. It's a profit of about 488 million, right? So which is where we know. So this is what we're not seeing with our Nollywood films. We only see the revenue. We are not seeing the costs. And if you think about the business model of how you can ascertain how well a movie does, you have to have costs in addition to revenue. So we don't know the cost. So a movie that makes 140 million naira, the Nollywood film now, assuming the cost is 200 million. Yeah, you're in the whole 60 million. But we don't know that. All we have is the revenue side. And so when you look at the type of costs that we have for these films, you're looking at production costs, you're looking at costs to fly them overseas, a whole number of costs. We need to actually know what those costs are in order to ascertain how profitable the films are.
Talking about the cost here,
yes.
What are the Nollywood stakeholders, how are they handling this?
Well, see, the thing is, they're handling it the only way they can, which is, with public relations, they want to tell everybody that the movies are doing very well, right? And which is good. We can understand that. But when you think about the cost of equipment, you think about the cost of flying overseas to film, you think about look at 30 Days in Atlanta. This was shot literally in Atlanta. So that's, your cost is in dollars. So your cost is in dollars, right? You're feeding your cast and crew, you're paying your director.
True.
But these films are being released in Nigeria and earning in Naira, yeah? So your cost is in dollars, your earnings are in Naira. So it's just, as far as transparency is concerned, we just want to be able to say, okay, for the industry, let us at least know what these movies cost to make, so we can benchmark that against the revenue to know exactly what they are in terms of profitability. That's the conversation that we're having right now.
All right, let's take a look at the Arise week. So what are your thoughts there?
Okay, so as far as Arise Play is concerned, it's got a lot of potential, right? It's a streaming service. I think Arise is going to be launching this January the 20th or so. So the question has been around whether or not streaming services like Arise Play can displace theatrical releases. So that is to say, would you, me, or myself, or cast and crew at Arise, or anybody else spend time at home or on their phones watching content on here as opposed to going to the theater? And the thing is, we're not quite there yet. I don't think that for new streaming services that have been launched, that they're looking to displace theaters right now. Well, all they're concerned with is content. So there's a lot of content potential for streaming services like Arise Play. Could potentially take people away from the theaters, but right now that is not really the intention that they have. They just want to be able to put enough content on there to keep people's attention. So in time, it could be like in Netflix, where Netflix is challenging theaters right now.
Indeed, but even in Netflix and these older established Amazon, as it were, they're having issues of content. There were concerns, not too long ago.
Correct. Not only concerns, also the cost. Content costs money, right? You're actually, Netflix just released The Irishman, which was up for some Golden Globe Awards. That's actually a full-scale production. I mean, you're actually paying money for actors and theaters. So there is a cost issue there as well, but also content, coming up with original content to compete with theaters is also part of the
equation. To a large extent, there has to be a measure of consistency here. All right, so on that note, Rotus Odiri, I'd like to thank you for your thoughts on this issue. It's good to have you.